The topic of this video is controlling a robot and getting started. The type of robot that we're using is the linkbot, and whenever we're writing programs that deal with linkbots, we always include these first two lines of code. Okay, what this first line of code does is include the header file linkbot.h, which gives us access to the variables and the functions that are associated with linkbots. The second line of code declares the variable robot and tells us that it is a linkbot. This symbol, clinkbot_i, is from the header file linkbot.h. So if we didn't include this header file, the CHIDE program would not recognize this symbol. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this and try to run the program and show you that it won't work. Okay, so you can see here, error variable clinkbot_i not defined. Okay, so that's why you need to include the header file when dealing with linkbots. Okay, these next two lines of code declare the variable radius and track width. The radius is the radius of the wheels, and the track width is the distance between the wheels. Okay, these next lines of code, 8 through 17, are the lines of code that actually move the robot. This first line of code, robot.setSpeed 6 inches per second, it uses the radius in those calculations. That's why the radius is entered at the end of that line of code. Okay, if the radius were different than what we set it to be, it would need to turn the wheel a different amount so that it could move the linkbot at precisely 6 inches per second. Okay, this next line of code, robot.driveDistance 13 inches, also uses the radius in those calculations. That way it can know exactly how much to turn the wheel to move the linkbot precisely 13 inches. Okay, this next line of code, robot.DelaySeconds5, just makes the robot wait 5 seconds. It doesn't need the radius or the track width to perform that calculation. Okay, this fourth line here, robot.TurnRight 50 degrees, uses the radius and the track width to perform that calculation. Okay, so it uses those two to make sure that the linkbot turns exactly 50 degrees. Okay, these next lines of code all the way to the end work on the same concepts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run the program to show you how it works. Okay, and to relate this to a real-world problem, let's imagine that there was a nuclear accident similar to what happened at 3 Mile Island, and we wanted to measure the radiation levels in there without risking exposure to humans. We can send this robot in there with some radiation sensors. It could record the radiation levels and come back, and we would have never risked any harm to humans. Okay, so this is the robot going to its first location. It's recording the radiation levels and storing that data. Okay, now it's going to go to the next location. It's going to record the radiation levels at location 2 and store that data. Now it's going to location 3. Now it's going to record the radiation levels at location 3 and store that data. And then it's going to come back home so that we can read the radiation levels and we never risked any exposure to humans. Alright, that's the end of the video. Thank you.